Hi there, welcome to Live Stream Yoga with Louise, tips and cues to keep you safe and strong on the mat. For today's Pilates conditioning class, our focus is on trying to keep our inner thighs switched on or engaged for the whole class. So throughout the class, I'll be prompting you and reminding you to zipper up or pull up on that inner thigh section, and we will be using a prop when appropriate to find that connection, usually squeezing our ball, if you have one at hand, so about the size of a soccer ball, and make sure that the ball isn't pumped up too hard so that you can squeeze it comfortably between the thighs. If you don't have a ball at your disposal, you could use a yoga block to squeeze between the two thighs. If that's not available, perhaps a soft scatter cushion. You could even use a normal bed pillow, but the dimensions might be a little bit big, so see if you can find something a little bit smaller. If you don't have a suitable prop at hand, you're going to kick it old school and you are going to mimic squeezing, trying to engage and keep those inner thighs switched on. Find what works for you. You ready to play? Let's hit the mat. We're going to put the ball one side to begin with. Just place it comfortably at the side of your mat so that you can reach for it when you need it. And find your way into a soft Pilates V, standing at the top of your mat with a little bit of runway to play. And heels softly together, toes splayed out to the side, tuck your tailbone under, pull your belly button in. And as you find your stance on the mat, I want you to start already establishing that connection from your toes. So pretend that you're rooting from your big toe all the way along the foot, zippering up from the ankle all the way along the inner thigh, connecting through your pubis, and then zippering up all the way to your breastbone. Find that zippered up connection. To roll down, you're going to zip it down from your breastbone all the way back down to your big toe. Nod your chin to your chest, round out, start pulling that zip down from your breastbone as you hollow out through the belly, peeling down and zippering down all the way to your big toe. When you come back up, zipper up from the big toes all the way along the inner thighs, connect through the pubis and zipper up all the way to your breastbone. You're going to rinse and repeat, gently mobilizing through the back and peeling down one vertebra at a time. Working within your range of motion, keeping your belly button softly pulled into the center line the whole time that you play. Reminding yourself that today's focus or challenge throughout the class, whether you're using a prop or not, because we won't always be using the prop, is to find that soft squeeze or that soft engagement of your inner thighs so that they're switched on the whole time that you're working and playing on the mat. Let's do two more, and then we'll change up the last one to bring ourselves into a soft down dog frame. Let's do one more up and down. Constantly looking for that zip. On your next journey down, as you hollow out and peel down one vertebra at a time, hold your soft forward fold and float your feet into a parallel line. Soften the knees, bend them as much as you need to be able to walk your hands out and ease your way into a down dog frame on the mat. Check that your feet are stacking in parallel, hip width distance apart, hands about shoulder width apart, and pushing into both hands. Heel and toe out for me, slow and controlled. Inhale as you come up, exhale as you come down. Start engaging those inner thighs. Pretend, or you can actually use the ball if you need to, and squeeze it between your thighs as you lift and lower, reminding yourself to find that connection. You're going to end high for me and hold a tiptoe down dog position, stretching through the arches of your feet, squeezing your ball, your block, or your pillow, or imagining that you're squeezing and engaging the inner thighs. We're going to work a little flow sequence from here. Keeping those inner thighs switched on, you're going to drop into a plank line on the mat. Bend the knees and hover them just off the floor in a table fashion. Then push back into your bum so that you're in a relaxed down dog and pike back up into a full down dog. You're going to work that sequence with a little bit of a flow. Find a plank. Hover your bent knees. Push back into your bum. Pike up into a down dog. Plank. Hovering knees. Push back into your bum. Pike up to the ceiling. Find a down dog. Plank. Hover your knees. Push back. Down dog. Plank. Hover your knees. Push back. Down dog. You're going to give me 2 more. Whether you're playing with your prop or without, I want you to imagine those inner thighs being squeezing and being switched on. As you come to your last one, just gently drop to the knees. Release the ball from between the thighs, if you had it there. And while we're playing in 4-point kneeling, I want you to envisage that squeeze, that engagement of your inner thighs. Find a 4-point kneeling frame on the mat, and we're going to cat-cow out. Exhale to round up. Inhale to come through neutral spine. If you're struggling to establish that inner thigh connection, you can keep your prop between the thighs as you play in cat-cow. Squeezing as you round out, making sure that those inner thighs stay softly switched on the whole time that you're playing. You're going to give me 2 more. And then after your last one, I'd like you to just gently place your prop one side. Still finding that soft engagement of your inner thighs as we play. Square up through the hands and the knees. Envisage your inner thighs still squeezing into an imaginary ball. Keep your neckline nice and long and neutral. Hover the left knee just off the floor, and then drag the big toe along the mat, bracing, and then gently bringing the leg up in line with your hip. Readjust your hands if you need to, so that your weight distribution is equal on the legs. You're going to toe tap out for me, lifting and lowering that leg, focusing on keeping that soft squeeze through the inner thighs as if that ball was still between the 2 legs. Keeping your neckline as long and as lengthened as you can. Keep your core braced, spine nice and long. You're going to give me 2 more, and you're going to end high for me. As you complete the last one, hold your tabletop line and toe and heel out on the back foot. Keeping your core braced, neckline nice and long. You're going to give me 2 more, and you're going to end for me with a braced foot. Hold your tabletop line and float the right arm into extension. Stay or play. Swing the right arm alongside your body and back to your start position while keeping the back leg long and braced. Sweeping or arcing the arm, starting with the arm in line with your ear, and then sweeping it softly alongside your body to come back to your start position. Give me 2 more. Bend alongside your ear and place that hand on the floor. That back leg is still floating off the mat. Give me a soft toe on the back leg. Bring the hands in narrower if you need to. We're going to work a little oil rigger, so think chaturanga. You're going to bend through the elbows, keeping that back leg hovering and trying to bring your chin just off the floor. If this is too much for you, bend both knees and just give me a small little micro bend in the elbows if coming all the way off the floor is not an option for you. So either executing from 4-point kneeling or coming into the full expression with that back leg staying at about a tabletop line as you bend and extend as much as you can through the arms, trying to hover your chin just off the floor and keep those elbows tracking in. Don't allow them to chicken wing out. Pretend that you're trying to hug in towards your rib cage. Give me 1 more if you can. And then ease your way back to 4-point kneeling. Using your prop to remind yourself to find that inner thigh connection. You're going to round out in cat. And then come through neutral spine, changing the shape, giving me more of a concave shape. Finding and re-establishing that inner thigh connection. Giving me that soft squeeze, that soft engagement, that switching on of your inner thighs. Give me 2 more. And then once you've done your last one, you're going to place your prop one side and still imagine that it's between your thighs as you bring that right leg into extension. Hover the right knee off the floor. Visualize that squeeze between the thighs as you elongate the leg behind you, lifting it up and bringing it in line with your hip. As you begin tapping out on the mat, check that your weight distribution is equal on the hands and the one knee connected to the floor. Think of squeezing through the glute and softening through the glute to make that leg lift and lower, and keep that inner thigh engagement as if that ball was still between the two inner thighs. You're going to end high for me. Keep your back line nice and long as you heel and toe out on the back foot. Don't drop the head. So keep that tabletop line. Give me a long line through the neck and the spine. You're going to end for me with a brace into the foot. Float your left arm alongside your ear and then begin sweeping or arcing the arm alongside the body, keeping your right leg in a tabletop line, bracing into the heel with the core gently engaged and definitely switched on. All right, give me 2 more. Reconnect both hands to the mat and soften the back foot, but keep the leg floating. Keep the elbows tracking into the midline as you bend and try to hover your chin just off the floor. If this is too much, bend both knees, bending through the elbows as much as you can to control that movement, whether you're just coming halfway or whether you're bringing your chin all the way down to the floor. Keep your core switched on. Visualize that soft squeeze between the inner thighs. Let's do 1 more, and then we're going to make our way into a seated frame on the mat. Gently sitting back and reaching for your prop. So we will be rolling down onto the back in a minute. If you'd like to place your padding into position, you can do so now. If you've got a pronounced curvature of the lower spine, if your mat is too thin, if you tend to have a knobbly spine, just have a little bit of padding where your lower back will imprint into and reach for your prop. You're going to squeeze your prop gently between the 2 knees. And we're going to start with some modified C curves, which we will be playing with. So feet comfortably connected to the mat in parallel, more or less just inside of hip width distance apart, depending on the diameter of the prop that you're using to squeeze between the inner thighs. Start with the arms softly floating out in front of you. Nod your chin to your chest, round out, start peeling down, and just stop when the weight's off your tailbone, bracing through the core. Float back up to your start position. You're going to try and give me 10 repetitions. Keep squeezing softly through those inner thighs as you round out. Pause, hold that rounded frame, and then peel back to your start position. Make sure that you're giving me a soft zip on the feet. So reestablish that connection that we played with right in the beginning of the class. Pretend that you're zippering up from the big toe all the way along the inner thighs. When you get to the knees, I want a really strong zip from the inner thighs on the knees towards your crotch line, so that most of the work is happening above the knee line for that C curve. Use your breath. Find that soft root through your feet. Squeeze into the prop. Let's do 2 more, and then you're going to end high for me, and we'll bring it into active recovery and just play with the arms while we keep that squeeze going. You're going to sit high for me on the bum bones. Squeeze into the ball. Keep that squeeze even the whole time. Don't let go while we play with the arms. Soften your arms, almost as if you were hugging loosely onto a big beach ball. You're going to frame your head and bring it back to your start position. Check that you're not rounding out through the spine as you're playing, so keep your seat nice and high. Think of stacking your whole trunk over your hip bones. Feel that soft root through the feet. Zipper up from the big toe all the way along the inner thighs. When you get to the knees, really squeeze into your prop. You're going to give me 2 more. Keep those arms soft. You're going to end overhead for me and then give me a little goalpost frame through the arms. So think cactus with a fist. You're going to bring your elbows together along the midline of the body and come back to your almost goddess line on the mat. Check that you're not rounding out, so keep that high seat. Keep that squeeze into your prop. Bring the 2 elbows together in front of your eye line. Give me 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. You're going to end with the elbows sandwiched together and you're going to give me a prayer hand, palms together along the center line. You're going to lift and lower your elbows, almost piking your prayer hands up towards the ceiling. Check that you're not rounding out. Keep that high seat and keep squeezing into the ball or the prop of your choice. You're going to give me 2 more. And then we're going to play with some seated roll downs and we will play it up after the last set. Find your high seat and float the arms softly out in front. Nod your chin to your chest. Keep looking down towards your belly button. Squeeze in to your prop. Use that inner thigh connection to control your descent, connecting one vertebra at a time. Coming into a modified roll down, nod your chin to your chest, squeeze into your prop, and float back to your start position. You're going to rinse and repeat and focus on that squeeze, that control through your inner thighs as you roll it down. Slow and controlled, don't rush the movement. If you find the squeeze is becoming too much, just let go of the tension, and when you're ready, squeeze back in. Keep looking in. So as you're rolling up and down, try not to look up to the ceiling. Keep looking in towards your belly button as you peel down, keeping those inner thighs switched on. You're going to give me 1 more like this, and you're going to end in a high seat for me. And then we'll change it up, and we'll work a little bit harder. As you come up on the last one, focus on that squeeze into your prop. Round out, start peeling down, and I want you to stop for me when your lower back and your mid back just touch the mat. Hold, almost floating the arms overhead and finding a hollow frame. Hollowing out, bracing your core and holding for roughly 10 seconds. Peel back up to your start position. Hug your shins softly in towards your chest and let go of that tension on your prop. But don't allow it to fall to the floor. All right, we're going to rinse and repeat. Float your arms out in front. Squeeze in. Keep that squeeze even. Roll down uber slowly. Connect your lower back. And just as your mid back starts touching the mat, pause. Hold that hollowed out frame. Softly floating the arms as if they were just about to frame your head. Keep the core braced and switched on. Float back up to your start position. Bracing softly into the shins. Letting go of that tension a little bit on the inner thighs. Have you got 2 more in you? Let's do it. Alrighty. Nod your chin to your chest. Round out. Keep that squeeze in. Connect your lower back. Just as your mid back starts touching, hold. Float the arms overhead and brace for 10. 9, 7, 5, 3, Peel back up to your start position. Take a little time out. All right, last one. Find your setup frame. Squeeze in. Keep that squeeze even. Articulate down. Connect your lower back. Just as the mid-back starts touching, float the arms softly overhead and hold that hollowed out frame for a slow count of 10. 7, 5, 3, last one. Peel back up. We're going to come all the way down onto the mat for the next one. And we're going to hold it down there, playing for a bit. So roll or ease your way onto the back if you prefer. And you're going to keep that ball between the thighs. We're going to play with a little bridge line. So keeping the feet and the knees more or less hip-width distance apart, arms are soft and relaxed at your side. Start with just a really soft connection to your prop so that you can just keep it from falling between the inner thighs. Then squeeze in a little bit deeper. Start in neutral spine. Round out, imprinting your lower back into the mat as you peel up, coming up nice and high into a bridge line, keeping that squeeze even through the glutes and more importantly, through the inner thighs. Pause, hold. Keeping that squeeze even, draw yourself back down with control to reconnect and find your way into neutral spine. You're going to do that one more time and we're going to play when we get to the apex of the bridge. Squeeze in, peel up. Hold even and give me big pulsing squeezes with the inner thigh into the ball. Keep your chin tucked softly towards your chest as you play, or you can even peel up off your head to look down towards your prop. If this loads the neck too much, drop down and connect to the mat. So just play where you're comfortable. Last one. Peel back down to the mat with control, keeping that squeeze in the inner thighs. Focus on finding a neutral spine position, and we're going to play with this one. We'll begin with the basics. We're going to play a pelvic tilt, but we're going to hold and brace through the core. So begin with your head staying on the mat. Find neutral spine. Take a big breath in, and on the exhale, squeeze into your prop. Round out, connect your lower back to the mat and brace your core and keep your core braced and that squeeze switched on. Holding for a slow count of 10. 7, 5, 3, 1. Softly let go and take a time out. We're going to repeat and we're going to start playing with the headline. Either keep your head on the mat or play. Start in neutral spine, squeeze into the ball. Tilt your pelvis to 12 o'clock. Maybe as you imprint the lower back, peel up off the shoulders, hovering your arms, brace the core and hold the arms floating alongside the body. Hold for a count of 10. Keep that squeeze in and keep your core switched on. Make sure that your lower back is sandwiched into the mat so there's no space between your lower back and the mat. Hold. 5, 4, 3, 2. Peel softly back down to the mat. Find neutral spine. Arms are soft and relaxed at your side. Float them up so that they're stacking over your shoulders and then hover them just off the floor. Take some active rest here and just keep your lower back in neutral. Keep your chin line soft and relaxed. All right, we're going to play with that pelvic tilt. You're going to end for me with the arms looking up towards the ceiling. Drop and weight your shoulders into the mat. Begin in neutral spine, squeeze into the prop and hold the squeeze through the inner thighs. Tilt your pelvis to 12 o'clock, holding there or floating your head off the mat. Whether your head is off the mat or whether you're connected to the mat, bring your legs into a tabletop line and hold that brace into the core. So you've got your lower back imprinted into the mat, preferably weight off the shoulders, or if this is too much, keep your head on the mat, but make sure that you've rounded out through the spine and that your core is braced. All right, hold. See if you can tap your heels to the mat and come back. If your head is on the floor, you might find that it's difficult to keep the hair, that imprint. So maybe peel up, maybe tucking the hands behind the head, and you don't have to tap the heels all the way to the floor, maybe just giving me a soft drop before coming back. So just see how you're feeling through the back. Keep your core switched on, keep that squeeze. Give me 3, 2, last one. Peel back down to the mat, take a little recovery, relaxing neutral spine. Tuck the hands behind your head, elbows nice and wide, supporting the weight of your head with your hands. We're going to work a modified crunch line. Squeeze into your prop, peel up, hold that little brace as you imprint your lower spine, weight off the shoulders. Inhale to come back to the mat. Rinse and repeat. Squeezing into your prop and holding that squeeze even all the way through your crunch. Only once you've made your way back down to the mat do you let go of that tension on the inner thighs. Squeeze as you peel up, holding that inner thigh connection and that brace through the core. Inhale to float back down. Relax your belly, relax the inner thighs. You're going to rinse and repeat. Keeping your elbows nice and wide. Make sure that you're not hugging the arms in and yanking on your head. The hands are there to support the weight of your head, but you're using that contraction through the core and that squeeze through the inner thighs to peel your head up off the mat. You're not leading with the head. You're going to give me 2 more, and you're going to end high and hold that scoop, floating your legs into your tabletop line. You're going to extend and bend through the knees, keeping your core braced. Keep that squeeze through the inner thighs, lower back imprinted, weight just off the shoulders. Give me 4, 3, 2, last one. Float the hands underneath your bum or keep them alongside the body, palms down. If you're tucking them underneath the bum, give me a diamond shape with the hands. Start with the legs softly extended, squeeze into the ball, and then think of dropping your legs to about 75, bending the knees and cycling back up. If you're feeling strong, scoop, peel up off the mat, either keeping your hands underneath your bum or floating them alongside your body or tucking them in a surrender fashion behind your head. So just do what works for you today. Keep your lower back imprinted, 2 fingers of air between the chin and the chest. Keep that squeeze working. You're going to give me 2 more. As you complete the last one, I want you to end at 90 and just heel and toe out, keeping that squeeze into the ball. You can keep the hands tucked underneath your bum or just soft at your side. Try to keep your lower back imprinted and keep your core softly switched on. Give me 2 more. Then softly connect your feet to the mat. Place your prop one side. Hands are either soft at your side or give me that little diamond brace underneath your bum and see if you can float the legs softly to 90 with a soft toe. You're going to lift and lower the right leg only 10 times if you can. If you can, give me a small scoop looking down towards your pubis, keeping your core braced and your lower back imprinted. So thinking of that hollow frame that we created earlier on, keep that core switched on. Once you've done 10 on the one side, you're going to switch. If your leg doesn't come all the way down to the floor, keep the movement smaller. If keeping your head off the mat is too much for you, then just drop back down to the mat. So play where you're comfortable. Keep your core switched on and visualize that inner thigh engagement. So pretend that that ball is still between the inner thighs. All right, give me 2 more. Peel back down into a tabletop line, reach for your ball, place it between the 2 thighs and trace 4 circular patterns clockwise, keeping that soft squeeze through the inner thighs. Just relax your lower back, but keep your inner thighs softly switched on. Once you've done 4 in one direction, you're going to change it up and move in the opposite direction. Keep that soft squeeze into your prop. All right, we're just going to take it through a little bit of light relief. Place your ball or your prop softly one side and extend the legs along the mat. Give me a soft turn out position, heels together, toes softly splayed out, inner thighs looking up towards the ceiling, and your hip bones nice and equal looking up to the ceiling. Arms soft and relaxed at your side. Take the right knee out and then draw it into the midline of the body. Keep tracing that pattern in the same direction. We played with this one last week, and we're going to use it to set up a little floating frog. Come back to your midline and take the left leg out and then in towards the midline of the body. Keep that left foot lightly connected to the mat at all times as you trace your little circular pattern. Come back to your original start line and move in the opposite direction, moving your right knee in towards the center line before opening to the side. You're going to give me 2 more on this side. Keep your neutral spine position and keep that belly button heavy to the mat. All right, left knee comes in and then opens to the side. You're going to give me 3 more on this side. And then we're going to move the legs in unison and we're going to add a little scoop. Alrighty. So you're going to gently bring both knees out to the side together. Draw them in towards the midline and extend. If you can, scoop and peel up off the shoulders, maybe tucking the hands underneath your bum or keeping them soft and relaxed at your side. Trying to keep that scoop position. So trying to imprint your lower back, weight just off the shoulders. Keep those inner thighs squeezing in towards the center line. As you draw out on the next one, assume a soft butterfly position. Reach for the front of your ankles. Keep that scoop position, core braced, nodding your chin softly down and looking towards your belly button as you hold a floating butterfly. Soles of the feet softly together. Keep that brace through the core. All right, gently drop back down to the mat and set up a bridge line. Feet and knees hip-width distance apart, arms at your side. Reach for your prop, place it between the thighs. Squeeze in, peel up through your bridge line, articulating up. Find your high bridge, keep that squeeze. And then keeping that squeeze, drop the bum, but not slowly, almost as if you were dropping like a stone to the mat, then thrust back up to the ceiling. So give me a little hip thrust, keeping that squeeze even into your prop the whole time. You're going to give me 2 more, and the next one you can do with or without the prop, depending on what feels more comfortable for you. You're going to hold a high bridge, preferably keeping the ball between the 2 thighs. You're going to transfer all the weight to the left leg. Extend the right leg so that it's in line with your left knee. Then just bend the right knee and tap the toe to the mat. If you find that keeping the prop between the inner thighs is too much loading for you, then you're going to work old school and you're going to just visualize squeezing an imaginary prop between the 2 inner thighs as you work. So just play where you're comfortable. 2 more. Find your way back to the center line. Squeeze, whether that prop is there or not. Extend the left leg. Keep it in line with your right knee as you think of softly bending and extending through the left leg. Keep your weight on the shoulders. Keep your chin tucked towards the chest. Two more. Find your bridge line. Squeeze whether that prop is there or not. Peel down one vertebra at a time. Keep that squeeze in. Tilt your pelvis to 12 o'clock. Hold a little hollow frame as you squeeze in, whether that prop is there or not, and hold that hollow frame, hovering your arms just off the mat, and keep the core braced. Hold. Peel softly back down to the mat. You can place the ball one side, and you're going to take it straight to a single leg squeeze. So you can keep your head on the mat and just think of gently hugging one knee at a time, keeping your extending leg hovering off the mat. If this is not enough work, take it into a single leg stretch by scooping, coming up off the shoulders, and thinking of gently bracing that leg, keeping your foot tracking behind your knee. Give me 4, 3, 2, last one. As you find the last one, drop back down to the mat. You're going to find your bridge line, and I suggest you do this one without the ball, but imagine that you are squeezing something between the inner thighs so that you can keep those inner thighs engaged. Think of your previous setup with all of the weight on your left leg and your right leg extended in line with the knee. Drop the toe to the mat and then brace and kick into the leg, almost working a cycling-like fashion. Trying to keep your bridge line on the left and imagining softly squeezing that prop between your thighs as you play with the leg line on the right. Softening the knee to tap out and then bracing and kicking into the heel. Last one, find your way back to your bridge line. Visualize that squeeze, extend the left leg. Bend the knee to tap the toe, brace and kick into the heel. Start finding a soft cycling-like motion. Playing with that leg, maybe bracing as you come down and softening. Just play with that foot line. Give me 2 more. Last one. Find your bridge line. Find that soft squeeze. Bring it down with control. As you reconnect to the mat, keep that squeeze. Peel up off the shoulders. Look down, brace your core. Visualize that prop between the inner thighs as you hold. 5, 4, 3, 2. The last one. Peel back down to the mat. Tuck the hands underneath your bum, thinking of that diamond frame that we played with earlier on, and float the legs softly to 90. You're going to cross pattern the legs for a slow count of 10 as you move the legs progressively closer to the floor. You might end at about 75, or if you've got a strong core, you might bring it all the way down, hovering just off the floor, and then bring it back up for a slow count of 10. You're going to give me at least 4 repetitions. If you're strong, you can scoop, peel up off the shoulders, keeping your core braced, and the hands either underneath your bum or soft at your side. Play where you're comfortable. Keep your core braced. Make sure that your lower back is imprinted. Play within your range of motion. Let's do one more. As you complete the last one, end high, hug your knees in towards your chest, cradle rock, your lower back out, just take a little time up. And then let's bring it into a bridge line again. Find your setup, place the prop between your inner thighs to remind yourself, or just keep imagining that squeeze into the inner thighs. Squeeze in. Articulate up one vertebra at a time, keeping that squeeze even. Extend your right leg, hold for a count of 10, keep it in line, bring it down, try the other side. Reconnect your bridge line, bring it down with control. Take a little time out, use prop or no prop for the next one. Find your squeeze in position through the inner thighs. Peel up off the shoulders. Finding a hovering position just off the shoulders and draw your legs into a tabletop line. Stay or play. Keep bracing into your feet. Drop the heels to the floor and come back up. If coming all the way down to the floor is not an option, just give me a small little micro drop through the feet before coming back up. But make sure your inner thighs stay switched on and that your core is braced, lower back into the mat. 5, 4, 3, 2. The last one. Let's just take it into recovery. Take the prop out and find your way into a supine butterfly. Soles of the feet together, knees softly splayed out. Place your hands on the hip bones and allow the fingers to just fall over your lower belly. Now focus on those inner thighs. Think of squeezing an imaginary ball between the inner thighs as you draw the legs together, allowing the feet to reconnect and come back into parallel. Then visualize releasing the ball as you open back softly into a butterfly frame. Squeeze as you come back together. Make sure you're squeezing through those inner thighs as you roll onto the feet. One more time. Keeping those hips nice and even so your hands are there to control. Check that you're not leaning heavily on one side so the hips even to the ceiling. Find your way into a soft, extended line on the mat, feet soft and relaxed in parallel, and float your hands overhead. Just taking a little stretch here, stretching fingertip to toes, spine nice and neutral. Then gently bracing into your heels, feet more or less hip-width distance apart, reach for your prop. Floating it softly overhead between the two hands. Open up your feet as wide as you need to roll up. Nod your chin to your chest. Round out through your spine. Don't look up to the ceiling. Look down towards your feet and roll up. If you need your padding, place it underneath your back. We're going to play with a little forward fold, trying to reach your prop over the feet, whether you're playing with a block, a ball, or a pillow. Then peel back up along the center line, nod your chin to your chest, giving me a full roll down. Slow and controlled. Keep pretending that you're still squeezing that prop between your inner thighs as you play from the parallel line. So imagine that you've got that ball between the thighs as you're rolling up and down. Just imagine that it's there. You're holding the prop between your hands and you're reaching over the feet, but just pretend that that prop is still between the inner thighs so that you keep them switched on. Giving me a soft little forward fold. You're going to give me one more down and up, and then we're going to end in a seated frame, and we'll bring it to easy sit. You can keep your current orientation, or you can swivel if you like. Give me a small swivel on the mat, finding your way into easy sit, leading with whichever leg in front you prefer. Let's have the ball in the right hand and just keep the left hand soft and relaxed at your side. Right arm extended, holding that ball or that prop, the block or the pillow in your hand. Take a big breath in, and on an exhale, soften your left elbow. Bend it as close to the floor as you can as you softly frame the ball over your head on the right, looking down towards the mat. Hold that arc. Gently peel back up to your start position. Big breath in. Fill your lungs to capacity, let's say for a count of 5. For an exhale, arc over, trying to drop that elbow and the forearm closer to the mat. Look down towards your hand, and then hold that frame as you gently rotate through the head to release your neck, looking up to the ceiling. Hold. Peel back up along the center line. Let's change sides. Big breath in, and you can change the cross of your legs if you'd like to work it out evenly. Take a big breath in. On an exhale, you're going to soften through that right elbow. Look towards that elbow as you frame the head with your prop, trying to keep your belly button sucked into the center line. Inhale and float back to your start position. Big breath in, bend. Try and drop the forearm a little closer to the mat. Start with your gaze down on the mat, and then rotate gently through the head to pick up to the ceiling. Float back up along the center line. Hold the prop between your two hands, squeezing softly into it. Take a big breath in, lengthening as much as you can through the torso, and then squeeze into your prop as you come down in active prayer. Soften slightly as you float the hands overhead. Exhale as you squeeze and come down. Keep long through the spine, so check that you're not rounding out and hanging off your tailbone. Last one. End with your prop just in front of your chest, and then take a little bow to end off your practice. Thank you so much for coming out and playing with me today. Hope you enjoyed today's conditioning class. I shall see you all for playtime on the mat tomorrow. If you enjoyed today's class, give me a thumbs up, shoot me your comments, and make sure you remember to subscribe with your notification bell on. Until tomorrow, keep it light.